Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Morgan here at The Life of Tillmans. Today I'm going to be bringing you my ELA brain dump. This is a little bit later behind my math video. If you have not checked that out, I'm going to link it down below in the description. But I just need to take a little break. So I am back because my thoughts were all over the place. And so I needed time without distractions to be able to really hone in on what I'm thinking. And now I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm actually going to do this video backwards. On the other one, I started with my 7th grader. This one, I'm going to start with my 7th grader, my rising 7th grader. This one, I'm going to start with my rising 2nd grader. So I have all of my nifty notes. Okay, so let's go backtrack what we started with this year. She has been doing the Logic of English Foundations series. She completed A and B last year in her kindergarten year, and now we are on C. I had all of these expectations that we would finish C first semester and D second semester. I was wrong, like dead wrong, y'all. The curriculum, I love it. It has worked great for us. We have definitely had some humps and challenges and had to really push through for her to see her capabilities. And that's been a struggle. So we are still working in Foundation C, and we still have about half of that curriculum left to go. And we're just going to keep working through it. It's fun. It's helpful. She's reading so much better now in spelling and doing all the things with her phonetics and everything. So that's where we are with ELA, and that's all I've ever used with her, which has been great. I am 90% sure that we are going to stay with the Logic of English Foundations curriculum. Love it. And I don't see a reason to change. And also, for me, especially at these foundational years, I almost feel like when you start a program like this and you're this deep into it, the way that we are, it would be very, very challenging for me to find something else to be able to pick up exactly or close to exact where she is right now. And it's just too much work. So I'm 90% sure that we're not going to change because I don't need all of that work and I don't want to do that and try to have to find a ELA curriculum for her. So yeah, if I change my mind, you guys will definitely know when I share curriculum pick videos. But there are some things that I have looked at almost as a change of pace because she's still very, very busy. And Logic of English has a lot of stuff going on in it too, you guys. But sometimes I don't want to do it. She doesn't want to. And so this wouldn't be a regular thing, but like I'm looking at things like Explode the Code and to give her more of like worksheet stuff. Independent work is really what that is. And this helps grow her confidence, knowing that she can sit down at the table and work on a worksheet, maybe just a front and back all by herself. So I've looked at that. I've also taken a good look at The Good and the Beautiful, but I think it's like a full curriculum. I know that it's like a full curriculum, so I don't want to add in a full thing, just more of like fun practice things in the form of a worksheet where I know she can sit down and she can do that by herself. We have tons of ELA games that go along with her curriculum. However, she can't play those games by herself. So I'm looking for something that's just a little bit of reinforcement for what she's already learning that is easy for her to do independently. Some other things is reading comprehension. We have been working through a reading comprehension book. I can't remember. It's blue. I'll link it down below. Love it. And we are about almost halfway through that book, which is great. We're just going to keep going with that. So I'm considering actually getting the next level. But remember, I told you guys I will not be buying things early because I don't know when we'll finish and that money could be used for something else if we need it. But it's in my 2nd grade Amazon file folder list, I guess it is, a list, because I want to keep that like in the back of my mind so that when she does finish this book, if it's something that we want to do and want to move forward with, it's already there. I am not going to be driven by the sales as well. It is on sale right now, but I'm not going to go for that. because a lot of times we go for those sales and then we end up just wasting it. And so I don't want to do that. So that is something that's in the back of my mind. I also have some additional ELA, like reading comprehension resources that I got from like the Dollar Tree, Five Below, that I got from my older girls that I believe are on grade level for Mallory. If they're not, they may be first, second, or third, somewhere in that range. And that's something that we already have. So I'm all about using the resources that we already have. And then if I don't have what I need, then go get more. More about that later. Make sure you subscribe, because I am going to do a video about how I am using up stuff and doing it in a way that is both fiscally responsible, but also it still is very helpful in my girls and their education. So make sure you stick around for that. So that's it. We're focusing on reading more books and all the things. So I'm probably not going to change her curriculum. So that may be a bummer for some of you guys, but if I do, I'll let you know in the curriculum video. Okay, moving on to my now 5th grader, my rising 6th grader. I told you guys I'm going backwards, so I have to change my papers around. Okay, for grammar, she is currently using Easy Grammar 5 and Daily Grams 5. Now, I'm going to go back into some of her history. We used like the Spectrum ELA workbooks early on, and then we went into Language Lessons for a Living Education by Master Books, and I believe we did either 1 or 2 years of that. I can't remember, but it wasn't what we were looking for. And I did a video all about that a while back. And so we decided to split things up. And when we split things up, she went into, what was it? I just lost my train of thought, you guys. Oh, Winston Grammar. She went into Winston Grammar. And so this is 5th grade. She started Winston Grammar at the beginning of her 4th grade year. And all was going really well until she got about midway through the curriculum and it was just too difficult. So we set that aside, and that's when she started Easy Grammar grade 4. So she started Easy Grammar 4 in the middle of her 4th grade year. And then she finished that one at the beginning sometime of this year, maybe like September or October. And so now she's in Easy Grammar 5. So I'm considering moving her to Easy Grammar 6 and Daily Grams, level 6. I'm also thinking about going back to the Winston Grammar curriculum, because my initial reason for getting Winston Grammar was because she's very hands-on. She is a kinesthetic learner. So anytime I can find something for her to put her hands on, it's like golden. And Winston Grammar has these cards, the grammar cards, and it helps with it's not mapping out the sentences, but with doing the parts of speech, and you do them based on these color-coded cards that have the descriptions on it. I will link a video down below where I shared everything about Winston Grammar, and she loved it. And so I am considering going back to Winston Grammar for her because she loved the cards. It worked well. It kind of puts me in the mind of, now I've never used Fix-It Grammar, but like 1 or 2 sentences a day of grammar work, which is really up her speed. It's great for her because she's not a big grammar girl. She doesn't like to write a ton, but she's really getting into some books right now, which is amazing to watch. And she doesn't struggle with any of those ELA components. It's just not something that she enjoys. So the 1 to 2, 3 sentence a day type of thing was really great for her. And Easy Grammar is not like that. There's a lot of pages in Easy Grammar, and she has to do like 3 pages a day. She gets it, she does it well, but it just takes more time for her, and it's just not something that she enjoys. So that is what I'm considering, is going back to the Winston Grammar. And I also have the Winston Grammar Words Works, which is like the in between the basic and the advanced level. So that could stretch us out for over a year for her. And I don't have to spend extra money because we already have it. I wouldn't start her back at the very beginning. We would just start from where she stopped last time, and then we'd move on to the WordWorks. So that is an option. Other than that, I have not looked at any other grammar. Those are my 2 things. Either get her into Easy Grammar 6, which really wouldn't be a huge expense either because I already have the teacher's book that has the student worksheets in it. So I wouldn't actually have to buy anything for that except for the test booklet for Easy Grammar 6 and then Daily Grams. Well, I don't know. No, I wouldn't have to buy Daily Grams either because I have that teacher's book. So yeah, it may just come down to what she chooses. I'll ask her and see which one she wants to do. And if she wants to go back to Winston Grammar, that's what we'll do. If not, we'll do we'll do Easy Grammar 6 and move on from there. Okay, let's talk about literature for her. Currently, we have been doing the Moving Beyond the Page literature studies. And when I am talking about like focused literature, that's it. She's done 2 literature studies this year. She did, I can't remember what they are. She did a poetry one and then something else. Holes. Those are the 2. Okay. So she did those. She absolutely loved them. She's actually waiting to do her final project for the poetry one coming up really soon in front of our family, which will be really exciting. So she's done those, and I'm wanting her to dive deeper. So this is more into like reading comprehension, really thinking about the literature in a different way, getting different perspectives, those thought-provoking questions to just stretch her mind a little bit in the area of literature and writing and understanding literature, okay? Analyzing literature. So I'm really wanting to dig a little bit deeper. However, she really enjoys the Moving Beyond the Page studies because it's like all encompassing. There's some spelling and vocabulary, there's grammar work, and then you get into your reading comprehension work where you're reading the chapters and answering questions. And then it has projects, it's hands-on. She enjoys all of that, which I think is great. So I don't know. So here's what I am considering. Doing more Moving Beyond the Page literature studies. My only issue with that is when I'm flipping through there for her grade level, which we can do either 9 to 11 or 10 to 12 for her. There's just some books that she's not interested in. And for her, she needs to be interested in the book in order to really push forward in it. I don't necessarily emphasize this as much with my oldest daughter because she'll pretty much read anything. But for her, she has to be interested in the book in order for her to really dig deep into it. So I don't want to hand her something that I know for a fact that she is going to be completely uninterested in and then expect her to really dive deep. Not now. So I'm thinking keep her in things that she's interested in and reading books that she's interested in and doing literature studies over those things. And then as she gets a little bit older, maturity comes along with that, then we can look at, introducing books that are just great literature that she maybe wouldn't choose and walking with her through that process as she matures. So considering Moving Beyond the Page, the other one is we are thinking about redefining school. And we have a lot of our homeschool friends via YouTube that we have met and on Made to Homeschool that do redefining school. So I actually just signed the girls up for the spring sampler. They are going to do 2 months, April and May. And this gives them an idea of what it's like to really do the middle school literature surveys for the entire school year. So we're trying it out to see if it's something that's a good fit for my girls. And then we will move forward from there because that could be an option. It gives them something different every month. And it's almost like doing a Moving Beyond the Page literature study. There's, from what I understand, which we've just gotten into it, of course, there may not be the hands-on portion of it, but if that's something that we want to incorporate, we can always do that. So we'll see if that is an option. And I'm thinking of just some other literature reviews that are online that you can find even off of like Teachers Pay Teachers. I did a couple of those for my oldest daughter for this school year as well. So I may do those. I'm just really trying to figure out how to increase her literature focus and just really think about it. Like varying perspectives I think are so important in everything that we do. And what a great way to do it, than through literature. Okay, let's move forward. Let's see what else. Okay, spelling and vocabulary. She is currently doing the Evan Moore spelling book, and then she is doing Spectrum vocabulary. And they're too easy, I believe, for her, especially the spelling. She is just going through it. So she will take a test a couple of times a week, and if she doesn't miss more than one, then I don't have her do that week's lessons because one word, you can memorize that and spell it and figure it out. And so typically they make 100s. So we don't focus a whole lot on spelling. And as far as vocabulary, she has been doing the Spectrum vocabulary, but she's just ready for something different. It doesn't have lessons. There's kind of no I would say order to it, I guess is what I will say. So I'm looking for something different in the spelling realm. So some things that I'm considering are Wordly Wise. She actually talked to me about going back to Wordly Wise. She did not like it. I will share a video where I talked about Wordly Wise with her, but she didn't like it. She did not like the reading comprehension portion of it. And that was over a year ago. And so now she's like, I want to go back to Wordly Wise. Like, I want something different. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a possibility. And she wasn't like dead set on that. So some other things that I'm considering are just doing a spelling list from literature that she's reading or from her grammar work. And also that could be vocabulary as well, because our children always come across words and things that they're reading in everyday life that they really don't know the meaning of, or they have to use a lot of context clues in order to try to figure out. That can become the spelling and the vocabulary list. It's a little bit more work for me, yes. However, I can look forward within her work, and I know some of the words that she knows and doesn't know, or I can pick more challenging vocabulary words or spelling words for her to be able to spell. They have both learned a lot from me doing the Logic of English Foundations curriculum with Mallory, as far as phonetics and how to use that to spell words. It's interesting because they use it now and it actually is really helping them. So I may just pull from that and not actually buy a curriculum for spelling or vocabulary. That's an option. So I have looked at a couple of other spelling things, but I don't know. I don't want it to become like work and not fun. And she doesn't really struggle with spelling. And we can always increase our vocabulary, but we can do that in really simple ways. So I don't want to overthink this whole spelling vocabulary thing, but I also don't want it to just become a box checking thing, because that's kind of where we are now, because it's not super challenging for her. And it's really not that fun, honestly. They're books. They're spelling books and vocabulary books, you guys. So there we are with that. Okay, so let's talk about writing and comprehension, or composition as well. So currently we are using writing strands beginning level 2. We did writing strands beginning 1. Now we're on 2. We're making our way through that. And she also does for creative writing the layers of learning curriculum. Now I will say that we have not been consistent with probably either of these, but the girls are at a point to where for writing strands beginning 2, Maggie can do those, and it's 2 weeks for one lesson. They pretty much can do a whole week's lesson within 2 to 3 days. So I don't really feel like we're on the level where it's going to be something that is truly challenging them, which I'm okay with right now, because we're kind of just easing into it. I'd hate to say, okay, let's skip this whole book and jump to the next one. But I really like how writing strands is laid out. You get 1 week of reading, and then the next week is more of composition. So I do like how that goes. And with the reading, of course, there are questions, and you get the plot and characters and all of that goes along with your reading. And then the composition portion, they are teaching them about how to expand their sentences and using LY words and everything that they should know for comprehension. So it's going well. So I'm trying to figure out if we're going to move forward with writing strands intermediate 1 and continue with layers of learning. So layers of learning, and I'll link a video down below where I did a flip through. It is a family creative writing curriculum, lots of different activities, and you have these 5-minute warm-ups, and then you go into and you pick different activities, and at the end you're supposed to pick a topic to do your writing project over. There's no time frame, there's no schedule. I think for us it may be just a little too free flowing, and that's kind of why we have not been consistent with it. I do like schedules for a guide to let me know where I should be, and then I'm okay with not necessarily being there because we're moving at our pace. But to not have a guide at all, for my personality, sometimes doesn't work, but we do really, really enjoy it. So I'm considering staying there, but I'm going to back up a little bit and talk about comprehension, because I have really had a focus this past year of doing more comprehension with Maggie, and she's done excellent. So things that we used for comprehension this year were the Abeka Read and Comprehend skill sheets, and there are about 40 to 50 exercises within there. They're timed between 5 and I'll say 4.5 to 5 minutes. You read, you answer questions, and she's done amazing in that. So I don't know if our focus for next year is really going to be more on comprehension or if we are going to focus more on composition, writing and composition. We'll see how that goes. But if I continue with comprehension, she would get that if she did the Wordy Wise. Once a week, she would get a comprehension exercise. So I may not need to pull an individual comprehension curriculum, but if we do, I would do probably the Abeka skill sheets again. It goes up to level 6 because it's fast. You know, it's 5 to 10 minutes a day, not every day, so 5 to 10 minutes a week, because we weren't doing it every day. And she would do 1 to 2 exercises per week, which was easy. It just really makes her continue to think. She would also get reading comprehension if we decided to do the literature studies, like moving beyond the page. So there's a lot of overlap for ELA, which is another thing that's also kind of puzzling for me, because it's like, when is too much, right? So that's where we are with her for comprehension. And let's see what else. That is it for Maggie. I probably talked in some circles here, but yeah, that's where we're going with that. Y'all can see why this took me so long to get it together. All right, so now I'm going to break out the big boy for you guys. This is going to be my 7th or rising 7th grader. If you don't know, she loves to write, she loves to read, she loves grammar work, gets all excited about doing grammar. This is just kind of her thing. And I don't feel like, you know, I've pushed her as much as she could be. Challenged her is the word that I'm going to use. Challenged her as much as she possibly could be. So let's do a recap of where she is. Currently, she is using Easy Grammar level 6. She enjoys it. It's fast. She hardly ever gets anything wrong. That's just where she is right now. So I'm looking for a little bit more rigor, like just a little. And it's only because it's her. It's not because we don't like easy grammar, but I want her to just be challenged a little bit more to see where she can go. So things that I'm considering is just moving her to the Easy Grammar Ultimate Series, which is grade 8. So she would skip 7, which is, I forget what it's called, but Easy Grammar, I don't know, something, but there's some extra word to it. So I'm thinking about just skipping that and going up to Easy Grammar 8, which is more of kind of like the daily grams, but it does have quizzes that go along with it. So I'm considering that. And what I like about it is that it has like the sentence mapping or parsing for the sentences. So you draw an arrow here, mark this out, that type of thing. Some other things that I am considering are the Abeka grammar and composition. So I know that there's possibly going to be overlap with a lot of these options, but you can also do what you want to do. But I hear amazing things about Abeka and their grammar, and that it really prepares writers very well for getting writing correct. And so I want to prepare her for that. So that is a consideration. And then another thing that I thought is maybe just getting her a sentence diagramming book, like something from the Critical Thinking Company. They have a sentence diagramming, they have multiple sentence diagramming books. And then also the Well-Trained Mind, How to Diagram Sentences. And another one that I consider is Learning Language Arts Through Literature. I like sentence diagramming. She is not excited about the possibility of doing it, but I think that it just helps to stretch her brain just a little bit. And sentence diagramming, this may not be something that we do all the time. So there's a possibility we do the Easy Grammar Ultimate Series, and then maybe once or twice a week she does a little bit on sentence diagramming. And that way she gets used to seeing that, because it's a really popular thing. It gets used a lot, and I would hate for her to go through her homeschool career and not have done sentence diagramming. So I'm thinking about adding that piece in. I also did a flip through and looked at and have watched several videos on learning language arts through literature, and I love it. I really think it would be the all-encompassing thing where she could get literature and grammar, and there's sentence diagramming and really diving into the literature and thinking about it in a different way, and there's composition in there as well, and also comprehension. I don't know. I don't know. I'm considering doing that. I will say that one of my biggest fears is that it's going to be too much. Not that learning language arts through literature is too much, but all of the components of ELA would be too much work. Because when you split them up, because you want more of everything, I feel like in the curriculum that have all of it, there seems to always be something that's just, it seems like it's just not enough. So I don't know. That's where I am with that. So that leads me into literature curriculum. So where she is now, we have done Moving Beyond the Page, literature study, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. She has done a Teachers Pay Teachers literature study, Operation Sisterhood, and she has the Esperanza Rising through Moving Beyond the Page literature study that she's going to do here soon. We enjoy the literature studies, the activities, the comprehension, everything, but it just doesn't dive into the literature the way I am looking for her to do. We love Moving Beyond the Page. So this is not like it's not enough type of thing. It's great. She needs something different, because you learn how to be a great writer from reading other great work. And I want her to look at it and dive into it and analyze it and just think of it a little bit differently. So I'm considering for her a couple of things here. I'm looking at my notes because I have a lot. I scribbled all over and had to erase and go back because it's been very thought-provoking. I've had a lot of moments where I'm like, okay, I need to consider this. And I don't want to give her too much work, because that's not fun and just something that she really enjoys. And I don't want it to become too much work because there's too many components and too many things. So here's what I'm considering. Most Dose Press. Love it. She loves it. I don't love the price of it, y'all. I really don't. If I had to say my top pick, it would probably be it. But I have not pulled the trigger on anything simply because Most Dose is expensive. So I'd be looking at Jade for her, which is the 7th grade level. It has so many thought-provoking questions that go into the literature. And it is not a Christian based, so it would be considered secular, but it really focuses heavily on good morals and values and love and kindness and all the things. So I have looked at the literature pieces that they have within it, and all of them seem great. So that's not a concern, but it's expensive. Brand new, it's expensive. And I just don't know if I want to spend that kind of money, because I don't think that my middle daughter would enjoy it. And I have no idea what my rising 2nd grader would do. So I'm not sure about that, but that's probably number 1 on my list. The next one is I'm considering redefining school for her as well, because it gives her something different every month. She also gets the interaction with other students, her age and grade level, and it just would be something different. And we've heard really great things. So when we get through the sampler, I will let you guys know what she decides, because ultimately it will be her decision. She has seen Most Dose Press literature, Jade. We've looked all through it and read some of the passages and looked at some of the questions and everything. And so now we're going through the Redefining School, a spring sampler, and we'll see which one she decides that she wants to do. I think that's all. I had a couple of other things, and this was before I really was able to dive into it, but I had lightning literature on here as well, and I didn't like the setup. She looked at it. It just wasn't something that we felt like was the best for her, so I did mark that off on my list. And I had learning language arts through literature under her literature study, but to me, when I was looking at it, it's really more grammar focused and possibly like composition focused than what I was thinking it was. So I moved that to under like the grammar category for her. But I think if I did learning language arts through literature and Most Dose Press, that would probably be way too much for her to handle. Are y'all following my brain here? Okay, so one thing that I am also just kind of leery about when it comes to literature curriculum and literature studies is I want to make sure that it aligns with our household, our values, our morals, our beliefs. And I don't want to get any weird literature, you guys. So I really have to vet those very, very carefully, because I am particular about what our girls are reading and what they're taking in, because they are at the stage now that they're reading things without us. And I can't read every single book with them. So I have to teach them, what I call stop things. You put this book down and bring it to me because you see this, hear this, or whatever is going on. Or it just makes you uncomfortable and you don't know what's happening. So we're working on that being a regular part of their reading, because honestly, I can't read every single book There are some resources that I use online, and of course I always look at reviews, and sometimes you may miss things. So that is another thing with choosing literature studies, is making sure that the literature that is being studied is an approved literature for our home. Okay, so some other things for spelling and vocabulary. Right now she is currently using Word Roots by Critical Thinking Company, and she loves it. We can stop that and start it at any time. It says from like 5th or 6th, I think, up to 12th grade plus. So I am not in a hurry for her to complete it to get to the next level. So we may start and stop this depending on how she feels, if she wants to change anything. So for her, for spelling, she's doing the Evan Moore spelling, which is the same thing with her as it is with my middle daughter. She takes a test, and if she doesn't miss more than one, she does not have to do the lessons for that week, and she just has to spell that word every day for the week, and it's been easy. She's almost done. I think she has one lesson left, you guys. And so I don't know if I'm really looking for something that's more challenging. I just want to expose her to more words, especially if she is aspiring to become a writer. The more words, the better. That builds her vocabulary and makes her a better writer, in my opinion. But she's just kind of bored with the whole spelling thing. And so we may not even do spelling. So that is an option. I'm considering no spelling for her at all. Then I'm also considering finding the spelling and vocabulary within the literature curriculum that she is using, or even within her grammar curriculum. Yes, more work for me because I would have to find the words and we'd work through that process, but it saves us money, and we can use some different spelling journals to where they have a format that they will follow for spelling and vocabulary words, and it will work out great. So I'm considering that for her as well. And as I said, possibly stopping spelling altogether. She does great with spelling. So this may be a point to where we're like, okay, we'll put spelling down. If we see that a problem arises later on, then we can always pick it back up. All right, writing and composition. All right, y'all, she is my writer, and I want to provide her with as much writing as I possibly can because she loves it. So currently she is also doing the Writing Strands Beginning Level 2, which is nowhere near her level. She breezes through it, and I love it. It's great. It does teach her a few things here and there. As I said before, we love the Bible portion of it. And she is also still working through her creative writing curriculum, which is something about pirates. I can't remember, but I'll link it down below. I did a video flip through on it. She loves that as well. We have not been consistent with it, but she does grab that. It was a once a week thing. And so she may go a couple of weeks or maybe 3 weeks without picking it up, but she still enjoys it. And there is no schedule. So she's just kind of working through it. And it is a book that you hang on to forever because you have different ideas in it and all the things. So it's not something that you do and then you toss. It's like you keep it. And then if you have an idea for a story you want to write, guess what? You go to this page in this book, you open it up, and here's your brainstorming ideas, that type of thing. So it's something she'll hold on to. So what I'm considering for her, possibly looking at more structure, but Writing Strands provides that. So I was thinking about just having her do her writing or composition assignments on the computer. So that adds in the typing aspect to it, and then it gets her writing on the computer, save that document, and then she can always come back to it later. It helps her with editing as well. And Writing Strands does progress in a way that I really do enjoy. We just haven't reached that level that's super challenging for her. So some things that people have suggested are, of course, IEW. Everyone uses IEW, but I know my daughter, and I don't think that IEW is going to be it for her. She does not like video lessons of any kind. And she is a creative writer, so she doesn't like when topics are really chosen for her. Do I know that she'll have to get out of that? Yes. Writing Strands does not require them to write on a specific topic. They always get to choose their topic so far based off of what we've done. So I just don't know. I don't know if IEW is it for her. She is not a reluctant writer. So I hear mixed things. Like if your child's a reluctant writer, IEW is like, because it tells them what to do, they check the boxes. She's not a checkbox type of writer. She's a let me go free flow this writing and she comes back with 7 pages type of writer. So I don't know if IEW is really it, if I want to make that investment for her, especially because she doesn't like video lessons either. And I hear the lessons are a little lengthy. Another one is EIW and the Excellence for Institute in Writing. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but the lessons are shorter. That's what I've heard, is that it's not as long as IEW. A little bit more fun. The composition work isn't as lengthy. It moves at a little bit of a slower pace. I just don't know if that's what she needs. She needs that composition. She needs that rigor because she really enjoys writing. I could tell her, okay, this assignment says that you're supposed to write 2 paragraphs. She won't stop at 2 paragraphs. She comes back and she has 10. That's the type of writer that she is. And so I don't want to keep her in this box, but I also want her to have the correct format and structure of writing. Writing Strands does provide that. I just think we're not there. So if you guys have any other suggestions for writing, I am open to it. I will look into it. Most Dose Press does not have a whole lot of composition. There's a couple of sections and opportunities for that. So when I talk about overlap, that's one thing that I'm concerned about. Of course, I know we can not do specific portions based off of the load that we are wanting and desiring for her, but I hate to buy a curriculum and then only use 1/4 of it. That's just not a good buy. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.